And good morning, everyone, from Bolero Mount Prospect in Mount Prospect, Illinois. This is the noon Eastern, 11 a.m. local time squad of the PBA LBC National Championships. We're wrapping up weekend number 6 here today, and we will have one more weekend of competition next week that you can still get yourself signed up for at pba.com/LBC tournament. If you're looking to get your chance at the tens, if not hundreds, of thousands of dollars of prizes available to you with the PBA LBC National Championships. I'm $2 Phil Brilo taking you through the day, and we know there's a lot of you tuning in early because there are a lot of big names on this squad. More PBA exempt players on this squad than any other. 8 players. We'll go through the players during this practice session as these players get 10 minutes of practice. There you see Bug Kroll taking the lane 10. You see Nathan Bohr coming up on lane 7. Christian Azcona coming off the approach on 11 and 12. Azcona won his lone PBA Tour title in North Carolina a few years back. Over on 15 and 16. You see Matt Sanders there in the black and yellow jersey with the blue inscription of his name. Over on 19 and 20. Tom Smallwood bowling with his son Brady. One of the fun parts about this event, you never know who you might get paired up with, and you can request your pairing. So, of course, Tom Smallwood requesting to bowl with his son Brady this morning. And over on 21 and 22, you saw Liz Johnson, our 2-time defending champion of the Women's Classic Division. Will Liz make it 3 in a row? Verity Crawley put up a new high score in the Women's Classic Division yesterday on our 2 p.m. local squad. That's the number Liz has to shoot for. Liz, you got to feel pretty confident as a 2-time returning champion, along with averaging 250 for your 12 games of PBA LBC National Championships competition over the last 2 events. There you see Packy Hanrahan taking care of business in 23 and 24. AJ Johnson styling the gray shorts this morning. A little relaxed dress code here for these PBA LBC National Championships. So you see AJ and Packy being a little lighthearted before competition begins. Andrew Anderson to target the beat in the PBA exempt division. Remember, all these PBA exempt players bowl in their own division. So all the other players on this squad don't have to worry about what the PBA exempt players are doing unless they're paired up with them for the optional doubles or optional 4-player team. And we'll talk a little bit about that during game 1. There you see Cassie Hanen on lane 30. President and CEO of H5G Brands. Her husband Stefan bowling as well. Great supporters of the PBA with H5G Brands. Glad to have them on board. They're selling a lot of great PBA LBC National Championships branded merchandise at their booth here inside of Bolero Mount Prospect. And over on lanes 33 and 34, our last PBA exempt player on the squad, Sean Rash. Getting ready to load up for his 6 games of LBC National Championships action today. Just one weekend remaining in the PBA LBC National Championships. Next Sunday, final squad event is a sellout. However, there is still room available on Saturday at 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. here in Bolero Mount Prospect. PBA.com/LBC Championships. Is your place to sign up, and entry forms are available through there. If you have your League Pals account already created, makes it super easy to register for this event. And on your League Pals account, you can also register for the optional doubles, which uses you and your partner's first 3 games of your LBC bowling. And you can also sign up for the optional 4-player team, you and 3 of your friends, or you can use anybody that hasn't bowled yet. You got a couple of minutes if you want to have a team with yourself, Liz Johnson, Tom Smallwood, Christian Ascona. You could do that signing up on League Pals before the start of this squad, because once a bowler begins their competition in this event, they're no longer eligible for doubles or 4-player team selection. But we know from talking to Sean Rash, he had a bunch of bowlers that bowled already and wanted him as a doubles partner. He's the defending doubles partner in the handicap division. You go, well, Sean's a PBA bowler. How can he have handicap? Well, it's pretty easy. If you're in the handicap division, men's or women's, you get to use your score with handicap along with your professional score. So that's why last year Sean had a great start for his first 3 games along with Orlando Rodriguez. And they're both on the squad today. And they had a big enough total between Orlando's score with handicap and Sean's scratch score as a PBA exempt player. They took down that handicap division doubles title. So even you, if you average 100, you could have a Sean Rash, you could have a Nathan Bohr, you could have a Christian Ascona, a Boog Kroll, a Packy Hanrahan. You can have any or all of those players. It is $25 per player per entry in those side events. If you have the bankroll, you can get yourself a few partners and take care of business. And I'll tell you what, if I was entering the optional doubles, that'd be the lady I'd be entering with right there, Liz Johnson. When you got a bowler that's averaging $250 for their lifetime tournament competition and event, you kind of have to pick one of them as a favorite. About 30 seconds of practice remaining. We'll have the final announcements from PBA LBC National Championships Tournament Director Neil Stremmel. And we will be underway here with competition. We'll give you a rundown of all 62 players that are in our field today. And then we will be underway.
LBC tournament bowlers, your 10 minutes of practice is now complete. Before we get started, a reminder that when everyone on your pair is finished with each game, please hit the space bar to move your scores to the next pair. Let's give these competitors a nice round of applause. All right, PBA LBC bowlers, good luck and good scoring.
All right, here we go. Let's introduce you to your players on this noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Mount Prospect squad. On 3 and 4, Antonio Figueres, Levi Harris, Caden Coddington, and Camden Harris. Antonio in the boys junior handicap division at a 186 average. Levi Harris in the men's handicap division coming in with a 196 average. Caden Coddington in the open classic division, and Camden Harris in the open classic division. Next door on 5 and 6, we've got Dean Panagopoulos, Ken Wanasak, Benjamin Lucas, and Mr. Lubinsky of the David variety not here. Late scratch for Lubinsky. Panagopoulos in the men's handicap division coming in with a 202 average. Wansack in the men's handicap division coming in at 216. Benjamin Lucas in the men's handicap division coming in at 215. Now, once again, you can watch your favorite player on any of the pair feeds. All these pair feeds available to you on the PBA YouTube channel. We suggest that you keep us open here in the main feed because we'll give you player updates. There's going to be a lot of hot hands today. Players chasing their mini Duke for a perfect 300 game. Hey, Mike Hammond, thanks for waking up early with us out on the West Coast. A little early on a Sunday for everybody, but good to be here. John's suggestion, just follow Liz because you know she's going to kill it. Now, you could have said that about Graham Fa earlier in this event, too. Let's not jinx anybody. That total Graham put up last year and then came in this year. And if you ask him, he'll tell you, yeah, he laid an egg. Over on 7 through 10. 7 and 8, PBA exempt player Nathan Bohr, bowling with Scott Hickernell, Robert Quintero, and Serenity Quintero. Serenity, a late scratch. So once again, Bohr bowling in the PBA exempt division. Hickernell bowling the men's handicap division coming in at 192. And Robert Quintero bowling the men's handicap division as well. It says he's coming at 233, but well, they have the choice. I'd go for the open classic division if I had that type of average because you're not getting any handicap pins. Plus, you know, you need a little. May need a little higher total to win, but there's definitely more opportunities to cash in that open classic division, but to each their own. Timothy Jacob, Brandon Knapp, Boog Kroll. Don't get messed up because he's up there as David. We had to use the legal name on the scoreboards. And Kyle Kroll. I don't know if Kyle's any relation. Kyle from up here in Illinois, Boog from Springfield, Missouri area. There's a lot of Krolls in this world, maybe distant relatives. Kyle Kroll, though, has something Boog Kroll does not, and that is a USBC Eagle, as he was part of the doubles championship winners back in 2024. Great toss there by Kroll for the early double of the Kyle variety. On 9 through 12, pardon me, 11 through 14. PBA exempt player Christian Ascona, Hannah Brookins, Thelma Valley, and Matt Berry. Thelma Valley in the women's handicap division coming in at a 135 average. Hannah Brookins in the women's classic division. And Matt Berry in the men's handicap division coming in at 193. Over on 13 and 14. Logan Krupinski, Daniel Callahan, Terrence Daniels, Marco Padilla. Krupinski in the Open Classic division. Callahan in the men's handicap division coming in at a 165 average. Daniels in the Open Classic division. And Marco Padilla in the men's handicap division coming in at a 181 average. Oh, I do have a name change on there. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, John, with Ascona. It's not Thelma Valley, as Matt Berry's a late scratch, and it is Madison Janik on there. And basically, they could have requested the bowl together. Just apparently did not decide to. Some couples are comfortable bowling together in events. Other couples might not be as comfortable. We'd have to ask Madison and Packy what happened, and I'm sure we're not going to get an answer from them while they're bowling. As Madison can't get that 10 to go. So, yeah, 99% of the time, if somebody signs up and requests the bowl with another player, if there's room for 4 on a pair, they usually have that happen. So, could be just could be also that Madison could have been a late addition to the squad. This squad sold out very early this past week. So it could have been that some of the lane assignments were already made, and somebody was a late drop. Madison filling in, and just couldn't get on the same pair. I know some ladies made a choice kind of last minute to bowl in this event. On their way up to the PWBA 10th Anniversary Championship up in Green Bay. That's coming up this week. Let's get you moved over to almost the middle of the house. Here on 15 through 18. Matt Sanders, Linda Bright, Janet Grimes, and Gail Laughlin on 15 and 16. Sanders, his lone PBA Tour title back in 2017 at the Billy Hardwick Classic, a plastic ball event that was held in Memphis in 2017. We're in 17-18, Eric Falks, Anthony Beck Sr., Anthony Beck Jr., and Lawrence Richardson. Janet likes it. Oh. Hello, Mount Prospect Police. I'd like to file a report. Yeah, we just had a robbery. Janet Grimes just got robbed on lane 16. Can we? Suspect's still there. Yeah, don't bother coming out. I'm sure Janet's going to take care of that suspect herself here in just a moment. Oh, no. The suspect flees. Let's get you over to 19 through 22. There on 21-22, you see our two-time defending women's classic champion, Liz Johnson. As Liz takes care of business after a first frame open, spare 3-bagger for Liz. In 21-22, she's with C.J. Holman, Dan Lungsford, Tracy Anderson. I know that Tracy and Liz and Dan all friends for quite a few years. Over at 19 and 20, it's Kurt Sywinski, Steven Martinez, Brady Smallwood, and Tom Smallwood. I wish before How We Roll got canceled that Tom and Brady both would have gotten cameos on that CBS show. I enjoyed it. You just had to look at it like, yeah, it's not real bowling. That's fine. It's like any other time they pretty much try to replicate a sport in a comedy, a la Kingpin. You know, it's, you know, you even hear that now about the new movie F1. It's racing, but it's not 100% realistic. Well, that's fine. It's a freaking movie, you know. It can happen that way. We can let the reality of bowling go for just an hour or two. But I always enjoyed the comedy of that show. I always like Pete Holmes, the man who played Tom Smallwood on that show. He's got some great comedy specials. He's a stand-up comedian. Love seeing me some Pete Holmes as well. Let's get you one more toss with Liz here, and then we'll get you over to lanes 23 through 26. Once again, any of these pair feeds available to you. Here on the PBA YouTube channel. If you open up the description of the video that you're watching, if you're watching it full screen, just reduce it for a moment as Liz gets them all to go. Just reduce it. You'll see the description underneath the video that you're watching. Just open that description up. You see all the pair feeds. Right-click on one of them, open it up in a new tab. Watch that new tab. Keep us on here because I'm sure players like Packy Hanrahan, who you see here with a possibility for, well, I was going to say 268, now knock it down to 257 in the opening game. A.J. Johnson, PBA exempt player, stepping up on 25 and 26. Packy bowling with Andrew Sims, Nolan Bushneck, Chad Kloss, a late scratch. A.J. Johnson bowling with Jason Radigan, Alex Finley, and Charles Brown. As Johnson gets himself a little trouble there, 2-8-10. How about that trip for Sims? I'd flex on that one a little bit. And even though the atmosphere may be a little more relaxed for these players, you see A.J. Johnson, you'll see Sean Rash bowling in shorts as well. Dress code's a little relaxed as they're bowling with their lane mates. You see a lot of chatter and stuff that you normally wouldn't see during a PBA tour event. Guarantee you that they want to knock Andrew Anderson off that 15-18 total that Anderson has. They want to knock it off. They want their chance for the big money in the PBA LBC National Championships clash. Date, location, and airtime all yet to be determined. I'm sure the PBA LBC National Championships Tournament Committee will be on that momentarily. Keep an eye out on your PBA.com webpage for all that information. Let's get you over to 27 through 30 on 27 and 28. Jesus Morales, Isaac Rodriguez, Orlando Rodriguez, and Erica Merritt. We mentioned Orlando, part of the winning handicap division doubles teams last year. Erica in the women's classic division off to a solid start. Spare double, you do that the rest of this game. You're in the 230s if you're Erica. Next door in 29-30, the Haynens, Stefan and Cassie, the owners of H5G Brands, along with Stefan Riggs and Brian Ricks. Brian Ricks in the Open Classic division, Stefan in the men's handicap. As we talked to Stu Williams about yesterday, Stu bowled early yesterday on the 9 a.m. squad, sat in with us on the 2 p.m. squad here on PBA YouTube and on the PBA LBC Facebook page. Stu had a decent day, shot 229 over for his 6 games, and he thought today could be a bit of a lower scoring day with the number of PBA exempt players on the squad, as they change the lanes differently than other players. Usually Sean Rash off to a rough start. Started with a double, but that opened in the 5th frame. Leaves him with a max of 234. And when Andrew Anderson paced more than 252, actually 253 on the head was Andrew Anderson's 6-game average. You can't give away too many more pins in game 1 if you're Sean Rash. Also, the lead change yesterday, we mentioned Verity Crowley taking over the lead in the women's classic division with a 13.63 total. She doesn't think it's going to hold up. We'll check in on Liz Johnson momentarily. And as we also mentioned, the nice start by Erica Merritt here in game 1. Could have a run. Hey, Liz Johnson out to 5 in a row. She'll be looking for her 6th momentarily. And how about the start for Brady Smallwood? Brady coming in, bowling in the boys junior handicap division. Get a break. Brady, other than the first frame spare, keeping it clean. Brady coming in with a 193 average for this PBA LBC National Championships. As you see, Smallwood, he thought he chopped it, and he almost did. Brady let him know, it's okay, Dad. You got her covered up. We also had a lead change at the top of the women's handicap division yesterday. Rose Tom needed a mark in the 10th frame to get past the 14.36 total of Kristen Lewis. And Rose got that spare, a strike on the fill ball, and that has Rose Tom in the lead at 14.44 with her handicap pins. No changes yesterday in the men's handicap with Robert Morris leading at 15.02. The Open Classic is still Weston Griffin at 15.23. Christianis Sergeyevas gave it a run. Fell a little short at a 14.69 total, but Christus in the number 2 slot in Open Classic. Liz scrambles them all up. In our senior class division, still Chris Barnes at 14.38. Stephen Crywhite last Sunday had a chance to knock Barnes off, needed to fill 20 in the 10th frame, but a super washout in an open left Crywhite in second place. Boys Junior Handicap, Cameron Witten's been holding on for a couple of weeks at a 1486 total. That's what Brady Smallwood is shooting to beat. And our Girls Junior Handicap division is Layla Garcia with a 1487 total with handicap pins. There's Brady Small. Get that up in the pocket. Couple pins tried standing that 4-pin back up for Brady. They end up tumbling down. John, I'm going to touch on your question a bit more about the USBC Nationals and professional bowlers during Game 2. But let everybody know, do us a favor here. Let everybody know you're watching PBA National Championships action with some of the best in the PBA for free on PBA YouTube. Let them know on your social medias as well. Maybe share the feed that you're watching. Give everybody a link and let a few more people get in the action. We'll, like you said, main feed here. We're going to keep following Hot Hands. We're following Liz Johnson this game as she's looking to put up a third consecutive women's classic title, or use the term that Pat Riley trademarked. I'm not paying Pat Riley any money for what happens if somebody does something 3 times in a row in a repetitive fashion. Just like I refuse to pay Rob Stone any money for something that happens on 4 strikes in a row that's referencing a pork product. Nope, I'm keeping my money. I'm not paying that. Trademark fee. So Brady Smallwood can get off to a really good start here. Gets 257 with his handicap pins. He'd be at 281 for his opening game. How about it, Brady? Oh, 6 does just enough on the 10. He may be able to give Dad the business after this first game. With Tom just having a chance to get to 180 if he strikes out. And the 6 doesn't agree with him. I gotta admit, Tom Smallwood, handsome pair of calves on that man wearing shorts. Haven't seen that before at these PBA events. Fan of the shorts during this competition. Not going to be as warm in the Chicagoland area today as it was yesterday. But still, the comfort factor. Always a fan of bowling in shorts once the weather gets above about 75 degrees outside. Because let's be honest, who wants to go from being in a bowling center, pleasantly temperatured bowling center, and then go outside and be in a long pair of pants? Oh, wrap 10 for Liz, so 269 goes to the side of the row, can still finish in the 240s with a spare here. Hi, Sean Rash. 33 and 34 didn't look fun. Home game for Sean, pretty much. Solid start there for Brady Smallwood. 235, add in those handicap pins he's receiving, 259. That's a nice pace for the boys' junior handicap division. He keeps throwing games like that. He can walk out of your new leader. Yeah, so let's get down to 5 and 6 as we are into game 2. Let's check in on Sean Rash, 211. Game 1. And a bit of surprise on Sean's face on the way back. Like, okay, that one held. It's pretty cool, these players that get to interact with the PBA pros on their pair, on the pairs next to them. Sean coming back, talking to a couple other players right now. It's pretty fun to see. It's one of the great parts about the PBA LBC National Championships. You can bowl. You never know what pro might be on your squad. You never know what pro might be on your pair. And we're even not necessarily talking about PBA pros. Sure, we spotlight them a little bit more because this is the PBA event. But today, how about that? Mass and Janik or Liz Johnson yesterday, Verity Crowley. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So John dropped a question in the chat. Says the event has a separate division for the pros, but the USBC Nationals does not, and gets a lot of discussion every year. What's my opinion on the pros bowling against the Joes at Nationals? Well, let's go back into ABC/WIBC history for the national tournament. There was a rule in there forever and ever, and this is, I mean, you know, the national tournament's pushing 120 years old now, where teams were limited. I mean, there wasn't professional bowling back in 1905. Let's be honest. Oh, continue the story. Forgot. Bowlers are moving. They're skipping a pair landing on the second. For those of you double tabbing, I apologize for not getting it to you at the end of game 1. So if you're looking to follow Liz Johnson, then we'll get back down by Liz shortly. She's on 25 and 26 this game. But continue on. USBC had what was called the lane man rule. A little different than oiling lane, the lane man today, oiling, where it was only 2 players on a team could make more than half their living from the sport of bowling. So that's why you had a lot of teams in the 20s, 30s, 40s. They were employed, in quotes, by their sponsors. And then you get into the beer league teams as well. You look at the famous Budweisers. Guess how many guys had a promotional job with Budweiser? I mean, how are those guys, think about that nowadays. You had the Budweisers with, Dick Weber, Don Carter, Ray Bluth, Tom Hennessy, a couple other guys on that team as well. I mean, how would we have a team at the USBC Open Championships with a Sean Rash and a Tom Smallwood and an A.J. Johnson and a Packy Hanrahan and a Nathan Bohr. That's exactly what it would be like, and that's what they bowled against back in the 50s and 60s before the PBA really came out and on board, where there was professionals, true professionals, bowling in the 50s and really starting in 1960s when it took effect, and that's when they changed the rules where you can only have a professional. It was still the lane man rule kind of, but then they made it where if you were a PBA professional at a certain level, you couldn't bowl at all. You could only bowl the Masters, or for a while in the 60s and 70s they had that separate classic division that run what you brung, bringing your teams, bowl your 6 games a team. Yeah, and classic division was 6 games a team. And then you bowled 3 games of singles, 3 games of doubles for your all events total. As Rash almost got the bounce, the pit. Let's go check in on Liz. So, I don't have an issue with professionals bowling at the USBC Open Championships. Limiting their numbers on a team, yeah, that's obviously they're doing that for competition rules. Some of those rules that they have, you were on Team USA when you were 20 years old, so now you're 55, you can't bowl with anybody else that's a professional or in the same category on your team. That's a little sketchy. There's been ways that teams have been getting around the rules for literally a century and longer on what the rules are there for the USBC Open Championships. And now they have to change the rules for the women's championships because the PWBA is no longer a professional membership organization. It's a series of tournaments with professional in the label. But now they're changing their requirements for who can bowl with who by the number of points they earn on the PWBA Tour. So if somebody's not bowling on the PWBA Tour anymore, they could bowl with a Liz Johnson. Where maybe in the past you couldn't. So, yeah, it's, it is what it is. And there's some guys that are going to live and die by the USBC Open Championships. There's players I thought for years should have had their PBA cards that should bowl a lot more of the regional action than they do, because as a non-member, they're only limited to cashing in 2 events a year at PBA regionals. You look at some of these guys and they go, well, I can't have my card because of my USBC Opens team. All right. That's your call, brother. I think you'd be a great PBA regional player. I think you'd have titles and other stuff, but if your focus is on 1 tournament a year instead of a dozen or more, that's your prerogative. So that's my thought on the USBC Open Championships. So if you got more questions either about the LBC National Championships or what I actually think about the sport of bowling, throw them in the chat. Liz Johnson spare strike through 2. We'll check in on Brady Smallwood as well, since he's right next door. Brady with the 3-bagger, starting things out. Looks like Tom's righted the ship as he matches his son's 3 in a row. Breaking news from Chicago. Summers are warm and humid. The sun's out half the time, and Liz Johnson throws strikes at Bolero Mount Prospect. She's got a double on the board after that opening spare. Dan Lungsford and Tracy Anderson, both solid amateur players from here in the Chicagoland area. Tracy's got some USBC Women's Open titles under her belt over the years. Let's see if Brady can get himself cover on the 210 while Liz tries to strike again. Uh-oh, Liz comes high. It's going to be the rare blemish on the scorecard. Take a peek up here. As Isaac Rodriguez had a nice start with 246. He runs into trouble. He leaves the Boog Kroll Portland shot. The 1-2-7-8-10. That's the shot Boog got himself in a roll-off with Liz Johnson last year at the PBA LBC National Championships clash after Liz went through the nose for a great church, and after a couple extra rounds of roll-offs between those two players, Liz was the second player eliminated in the clash last year. That was very surprising to everyone in the building and everyone in the TV audience. Get that drop for Isaac Rodriguez. They'll fix that score momentarily. That pin fell before it was contacted by any pin setter machinery. So that will count as a spare. Brady talking things over with Dad before Tom steps up looking for 5 in a row. It's Smalls with the wrap 10. I don't know how many you caught last night on the PBA 60 tour. Last night on the PBA 60 World Series of Bowling held at Wayne Webb's Columbus Bowl, the inaugural PBA 60 World Series, John Burkett, former Major League pitcher and all-around decent human being, took down the Mark Roth Championship over Parker Bone III in the championship match, and it was not even close to the championship match. Parker struggled to a 168 game. Cruise control for Burkett with 246. So good to see John get his second PBA national title. He has one PBA 50 title to go with this PBA 60 title. John says it too, man. Not being able to come out here and compete with all these guys on the PBA 50 tour is such a gift. I mean, 16 years Burkett spent in the majors as a pitcher. John, of course, having support of his family, and doesn't bowl a lot out on the national tour the last couple of years. Stays sharp. He's got a couple of lanes in his home. One of the benefits of 16 major league years of paychecks. Helps him stay sharp, and when he does come out to compete, he wants to be at his best, and he proved he was at his best last night. Brady Smallwood knowing how important spare shooting is. Keeping the score sheet clean other than that big split in the fourth. Oh, Smallwood knew it. You saw the reaction going, oh, don't 10-pin, but then on top of it, here's the 7-10. Yikes. Smallwood, one of those players, though, that can really get that ball amped up to go to 7-10 with that ball roll, try to bounce it. And a little tease, no love, though. And the open frame for Smalls. Liz just can't get things going on this pair. Solid start in the 240s. 248 game one for Liz. But she's looking to max out this game at 214. With the spare, let's get over 31-32 as Orlando Rodriguez Jr. had the front five. We just put a stop to that. It's been a bad weekend for us here in the booth, ladies and gentlemen, and we apologize for that. We seem to be, just call us the stopper. It has been a rough weekend. Seems like every time we've been cutting to people this weekend, it's been chop it up. John, don't feel bad about hogging the chat. Other people got questions. I said it's an open invite. Anybody's got questions about this LBC? Anybody's got questions about the PBA? Anybody's got questions about $2 fill? Hey, bring them on in. I'll answer them the best I can. So, John asking, is this the possibility of event being held in multiple parts of the country and bringing the original winners together to the finals? I honestly don't know if that's something they're looking at. I know one of the reasons why they've had it in Milwaukee and in Chicago, because it's centrally located in the country. I mean, it's still, coming anywhere from west of the Mississippi, you're still looking at a minimum few-hour drive, if not a good-sized flight, especially from California, Washington State, and Oregon. I don't know if they would go with a regional type thing and then bring the winners together. Interesting thought. I'm going to save that, John. I'm going to forward that to LBC people. I know, I mean, let's be honest. They did that for a couple of years at the PBA Players Championship after the pandemic. You know, in 21 and 22, they had the multiple locations that all PBA players could qualify at. And, you know, we had some players that ended up making their first TV appearance because at the Bailey Maverick or at Tim Foy Jr. because of the format of that event. And then once things became normalized again for travel and being together in the same place at the same time, the Players' Championship went back to its old format. One tournament I thought should always be that way, and I wrote an article for a bowling publication 15 years ago, at least, about it, because I thought, you know, it's just insane with the amount of entries that there are at Junior Gold. You know, that didn't go to a regional program and then advance winners. But then again, you're talking, you know, travel expenses and such, and, you know, who pays the travel expenses to go to the national part of the competition? I mean, it was easy for the PBA with the regions for the PBA Players Championship because, you know, there was plenty of money there for the players to get to the national finals, and they were going for TV. So it's an interesting concept. I'll forward that along. Seeing people asked about that as Liz once again strikes. Brady Smallwood, though, having another solid game. Could it work? Possibly. How would you do it? That's all needs to be drawn out. And I know, you know, ease the travel burden for a lot of people, and then take it from there. So, let's see. Hey, Pack Attack 580. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, bowling's a fun sport, especially with friends. I'm sure you've made a lot of friends in the Special Olympics. We've done some stuff in the past in Wisconsin with Special Olympians and United team tournaments and such. So it's always fun to see our Special Olympian friends get to compete on the lanes. And thanks for tuning in, Pack Attack. So Liz Johnson trying to salvage 220 out of this game. I hate to say salvage. But when the scoring pace that she's got put up with Verity Crowley, you know, being almost a 230 average. Even with striking out, Liz is going to be even with Verity's pace after 2 games. Hey, backup ball at the 2-8-10. Doesn't quite get him. So after game 2, if you're double tabbing us with the main feed and following your favorite player, players are going to be skipping 2 pairs, landing on the 3rd. So the players you see here in 25 and 26, they're going to 31 and 32. The Smallwoods and their lane mates going to 29 and 30 as Liz gets the first one in the 10th. Boy, Brady Smallwood could punch here. Get the 240, add another 24 pins of handicap on board. Really solid start in the boys' handicap division. And Liz knocks another one down. So Liz can get to 220 after some early struggles. And joining us in the booth between games, one, Sean Rash, PBA Hall of Famer. 203, making the move from high end to low end. We've seen a lot of players struggle with the move from high end to low end. Is it that different in your eyes?
I don't know if it's that different, Phil. It's just, getting acquaintance to the pair, of course. The weather, temperature, the humidity outside with the storm coming in doesn't help.
Yeah.
Testing the approaches, being smart with what's going on. But my dad was asking me what was going on just a minute ago, and there's 3 things in our sport that I think a lot of people don't figure out sometimes when the scoring pace is somewhat high, especially on our side, is you match up and you strike a lot, which the top of the leaderboard is done, right?
Yep.
You can match up and hit the pocket and not have a very good day, which is basically what I've done for 2 games. I've only missed the pocket twice, and I got 20 over. It's not very good. And then you don't match it up at all, and you take your turn, and you take your licks, and you move on to the next tournament. So, I'm bowling with 3 really good people, Kevin, Dominic, and Tony. They're having a blast, a little starstruck, I think, when I got walked in the door. Yeah. But I think they're finally starting to settle down. And, there's a lot of great bowlers bowling in this squad with AJ and Tom Smallwood and Packy and David and Nathan Bohr. And so there's, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, watch Brady Smallwood right here. I mean, he's taking care of business on his dad right now. He got him by 30 got him by 50 in the first game, scratch, and then added Brady's handicap pins because he's in the boys junior handicap division. He has a chance here to pop off 240 scratch after popping off a 230 in game 1 scratch. So,
yeah, smacking.
Look at
Pops.
that.
I'm sure Pops is thrilled
Look
about
at
that. I know they're going to be playing golf this afternoon, so Tom's going to probably try to get his money back from his son on the golf course this afternoon. But everyone knows Brady's a good bowler, right? He done some stuff a few years back with the father-son challenge, with the PBA exempt thing, whatever the name of that was called.
Yeah.
But I don't think Smalls had a good time with the approaches game 1. It didn't sound like. Again, like that's matching up, hitting the pocket, getting lucky.
Right.
But realistically, that's probably stood quite a bit for him, or he's had some designs to bowl bad game 1.
Well, pocket 7-10 in the 6 frame did help there. I mean, it was the old ring 10 with the blower 7. That's always a fun one to get for you guys.
Yeah, no, that's game 1 for me. I had a chance for 230, which kind of starts the day. If you bowl 230, you can kind of motivate yourself from there. And pocket 7-10, and it's kind of like, well, let's just go bowl for the next 5 games. So. Anyways, thanks for letting me chime in.
Appreciate the time, yeah.
I'll come back tell you if I have any good or bad, but it's probably going to be mediocre unless something gets lucky.
I'm open for the good. Thanks, Sean.
Maybe something beverage-wise will help.
There you go. Yeah, it is a little bit of a loosening of the PBA regulations for this LBC National Championships, as you've seen Sean bowling in shorts. And it's actually legal in this tournament to bowl in shorts and have an alcoholic beverage if you want. And they do have $3 domestic bottles during the run of the tournament here at Bolero Mount Prospect. So we may see Sean with a captain and diet during game 4, maybe even game 3. So once again, your player movement, you're going to see these players in 25 and 6 skip 2 pairs, land on the 3rd, go to 31 and 32. The Smallwoods will go to 29 and 30. 2 games in the books. 1/3 of the way in through the black. And Pack Attack, you'll actually get to see Brad and Kyle next Sunday is when they're scheduled to bowl on the final squad of the PBA LBC National Championships. And there's a couple other quality players along with Brad and Kyle on that squad, including PBA Hall of Famer Bill O'Neill, Jason Sterner as well, and Nate Stubler. So some great players next Sunday as well. That squad sold out, but you'll be able to get in on Saturday if you like. There's still room on both the 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. squads next Saturday for our final weekend of the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships. Enter at pba.com/LBC tournament. Let's see if Brady Smallwood can keep it rolling. Yes, he can. Slapping him up better than Dad is right now. Great place for that, but 2-4-0. For Brady Smallwood, and he's going to be sitting at a 5.23 total for 2. Great bowling for the young man. Let's see if his dad can finish it off as well. How about Brady Smallwood? What a start for that young man. We'll keep an eye on him. He's moving over to 29-30 as we're into game 3 here. Packy Hanrahan and his pair really pacing up here. Only 3 on their pair, so it's a little easy for them to go a bit faster. Packy, wow, that's surprising. Under a 200 average for his first 2 games. As Liz Johnson starts with a strike. Brady Smallwood in the boys junior handicap division, 235 and 240 for his first 2 games. He's catching 24 pins a game of handicap. And Brian, you're right. The young man is dealing right now. As Sean Rash said, he's probably going to have his dad take it out of him a bit on the golf course this afternoon once they're out of here. All right, and joining me in the booth, you bowled last week, Brian Ducey, didn't you?
I did. Well, you could call it that. Yeah. I had a ball in my hand. I tried to slide and had a great time. But, no, I did bowl very well.
And you have Dog Tags Bowling, which does a lot of great things for bowlers, veterans, and regular Joes that want to help the veteran. I mean,
exactly.
People like us that want to help the veterans.
A little bit of background. Dog Tags Bowling, group of guys that got together. We're all veterans. We put it together. We have an active duty E8 who is serving in Clarksville, Tennessee, part of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Jason Van Malcolm, myself, Gary Lewis, Michelle Russell, that is Ronnie Russell's wife. We call her the PBA wife. And then Joel Eisen, who has just taken over a new pro shop in Terre Haute, Indiana. We put this group together, and we've been doing about, I'd say 18 months maybe, about that. And what we do, we are not the BPL. Johnny Petraglia and their organization doing fantastic, but we're just a group of local guys that get together to put on tournaments across the country, and then we donate money back. So Jason's doing a tournament on July 20th in Michigan, and I'm doing a tournament on July 19th at Liberty Lanes. and we are donating my money. We're donating my money to the VFW in East Dundee.
Okay.
So, it's July 19th, Liberty Lanes, 12 o'clock check-in, 1 o'clock start. We only have 88 bowlers allowed, and we are sitting at 82 right now, so we have 6 available. So we try to give money back to the local people, and whatever happens, happens. But in the last, like I said, 18 months, we've given away almost $10,000. So when we did one in Indiana, we gave it to the Indy Warrior Partnership. Then we did one in Tennessee, and we gave money to Operation Stand Down, Tennessee. Then we did one in Johnsburg, Illinois. We gave the money to Veterans Path for Hope. And like I said, this one we're giving it to the East Dundee, West Dundee, VFW / American Legion. So yeah, it's great stuff.
You know, it's one thing a lot of people from larger urban areas maybe forget, because there's not as many VFW posts around as there used to be. Through attrition and people getting older and stuff, there's fewer and fewer. But in a lot of smaller towns and a lot of rural areas, VFWs are not just a thing for the veterans. It's a gathering place for everyone in the community.
Oh, absolutely.
And to keep these places open for the veterans, to benefit the veterans, with Legion posts and VFWs, I think is very important in the community.
Yeah, and people don't understand. You do not have to be a member to go to the VFW.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a member of the American Legion to go hang out and do their fish fries on a Friday night, or sit at the bar and have a beer.
Yeah.
You can meet the guys that served and volunteered their life for our country to support us. And my motto, or our motto as for Dog Tags, is serve those that served us.
Right.
So we do the best we can. I appreciate you bringing me on.
Yeah, if people want more information on Dog Tags Bowling, where's the best place that they can go to get it?
Really, the best place to go is www.dogtagsbowling.com. That is our website. You can sign up for tournaments. We do have a partnership. Partnership's kind of cool. If you pay, I think it's $25 for a year, you're automatically entered into every tournament we put on. You can have first right of refusal if you don't want to come, but you're automatically entered. We have some behind-the-scenes access to the PBA bowlers that we have. We also do a podcast. So we do a live podcast, usually during bowling season. It is on Tuesday nights. During the summer, we try and do it on Wednesdays, but we're taking a little hiatus right now because the weather's good for all of us, so we're having a little fun. But we've had everyone on the show. We've had Kimberly Presser, Kyle Troop. We've had Tom Clark. My gosh, we've had the commissioner of the PBA on our show. So we've had from the big of the big to the low of low of everyone in the PBA industry been on our show. Maybe we'll get Phil on sometime.
Yeah.
But he's doing some stuff on Wednesdays right now, so
yeah,
a little busy.
But yeah, absolutely. But hey, Brian, appreciate everything you do for the veterans.
Thanks,
everybody
Phil.
with Dog Tags Bowling. July 19th, get that information, dogtagsbowling.com. If you're in the Chicagoland area, come up and bowl at Liberty Lanes, great center.
We're pretty much full. I only got 6 spots left, but does not mean that you can't come up and hang out and drink beers and have a good time with us. We have raffles. We've got 2 bowling balls. We've got 2 autographed signed jerseys. We actually have a Team Canada signed jersey from Francois Lavoie.
Nice.
We have a signed jersey for Brad Miller. We got 2 bowling balls, 50-50. Just come up, hang out, meet the guys, see how it goes.
Yeah, there's plenty of room at Liberty Lanes. You're not going to be walking on top of anybody,
Exactly.
no doubt about that. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you.
Phil, appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, man. All right, while we were talking to Brian Ducey, Brady Smallwood keeping up the pace. We've actually had a couple of PBA players stop by the booth going, hey, what does Brady need to get in the first in boys junior handicap? So how about that? 3 in a row for Brady Smallwood as the rolling keeps going for Brady. We'll check in on Liz Johnson as well, as Liz has started spare 3-bagger. Next door on 31 and 32, so next time Liz steps up, we'll keep an eye on her. We'll try to see if we got any other bowlers pacing towards big totals. Looking in front of the booth here, I'm behind lanes 5 through 8 in the broadcast booth, and a couple of players with decent starts. Isaac Rodriguez, we looked in on him during game 2. Rodriguez 479 in the open classic division after 2, so not a bad pace, but he's going to have to pick it up if he wants to take down that Weston Garrett total. No, pardon me, Rodriguez. Isaac's in the handicap. That's right. Isaac's in the handicap division, so he's catching a few pins a game on top of that 479. Yeah, he's really going to have to pick up the pace a little bit. Try to catch up to the 1502 set by Robert Morris. Yeah, so many great organizations. And like Brian said, you know, BVL, great organization the PBA works with at all the events. You see the veteran on every PBA telecast, decked out in that special Bowlers and Veterans Link jersey. But there's so many veterans. I mean, and sometimes we forget. It's not just about the, you know, how few World War II veterans we have left, or the Korean War, or the Vietnam War veterans. I mean, you look at Operation Desert Storm, you look at all the operations in the Middle East we've had over the last 25 years. Those gentlemen and ladies are veterans as well that were over seas protecting us. And so everything we can do for veterans through all those organizations, it's a good thing that bowling supports. And Brady Smallwood can't get the 9 to go. Let's get over to Liz. Is Liz looking for 4 in a row? She made a big run at the end of last game, and she's looking to continue to strike here in game 3. Brady keeping the score sheet clean. Only 1 open for Brady Smallwood through the first 24 frames, and that was a 210 combination. It's kind of a nice little reunion day for a lot of these players that haven't seen each other in a while that are on this squad. I mean, you know, these guys and ladies want to beat each other's brains out when they're out on the lanes, but off the lanes there's been some good friendships made. Is that 4 going to fall for Liz? No, it doesn't. Brady Smallwood back to striking as the young man puts up an X in the beverage frame. So Sean and Judy Johnson here watching their son AJ, and Sarah Rash here watching with a couple of their daughters watching Sean. And you know, Packy just came up, gave Judy Johnson and Sarah Rash a big hug. So that's one thing behind the scenes. These bowlers, you know, we mention it with the veterans, and you know, we can mention it with a lot of things. Bowlers look out for each other. You know, the guys on the Pro Tour, I know guys that have had, you know, and it's stuff you'll never hear about, but all of a sudden, nope, somebody's got a vehicle problem. Guess what? Another guy picks him up and, you know, on the road and gets him to the next stop. And, ooh, Small's not happy with that. Still manages to get him to fall. I mean, this 4.5 to 1 pattern isn't exactly kick it down the lane easy, let's be honest. And it's not the oil ratio you have in a house pattern. But sometimes you see these tour guys, they kind of look around, shake their head at a bad shot, and still manages to either hold pocket or come back from a little miss right. But yeah, bowlers look out for bowlers. Prime example of that is a man who's made the last 2 PBA LBC National Championship clashes with Lenny Borsch Jr. And I don't think there's a person in the world that hasn't enjoyed watching Lenny bowl over the years, and especially those that were introduced to him nationally on those clash telecasts. And what the bowling world has done to come together after Lenny was diagnosed with a rare form of prostate cancer, and the money that's been raised and the meals that have been brought over, and not just the local support where he's from in southeastern Wisconsin, but all over the country has just been amazing. And there's so many untold stories of that across the sport of bowling. I'm sure it happens in other sports as well, but I mean, it gets seen a lot. I see it a lot in the sport of bowling. So Brady Smallwood's going to be coming into the right side of your picture momentarily. Looking to get a double. Oh, that needs some help for Brady Smallwood. You see Dad trying to help into the pocket. Leaves the 2-5. You saw Liz leave that 4-pin. She picked it up, and she struck. We'll get back over by Liz for a couple of shots after. Brady Smallwood converts his spare. Thanks to everybody that's been hanging out with us here on the PBA YouTube channel and the main feed. Thanks to those of you that are double tabbing as well. There you go. Get that out of there, Tom Smallwood. You're a PBA major champion. Those should fall for you. Oh, and Brady knew it right when it got there. Still, he's having a good game. Stop the bleeding early. Punch another double or 3-bagger like you've done numerous times so far today. And you can get yourself another above-average game. Keep plugging towards that junior handicap division lead. And once again, just one weekend remaining. 2 squads with availability next Saturday, 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. here at Bolero Mount Prospect. And a little too late for everybody to get in on our final squad of the 2025 edition of this event next Sunday, as it is a sellout. And Liz can't get that flat 10 to go down. Once again, though, solid game. When your worst count's been 9, and that's been all shots but 1 so far for Liz Johnson, you're going to have yourself a pretty solid day on the lanes. Just 1 blemish on the scorecard for Liz in her first 27 frames. That was a big 4 back in the middle part of game 2, but then she strung a lot of strikes on the other side of it. Brady Smallwood looking to pick up 3-pin. Yeah. Approaches, yeah, it's a little humid today. I mean, they've been doing everything they can here. I'll tell you what, center's got a reputation for, a humid day, and that's a lot of bowling centers. I mean, honestly, my opinion, is why did anybody ever change away from wood approaches, even when they put in synthetic lanes, as Liz with the high hard one. Still looking to get 249 on the board here in game 3. No, why would anybody ever get away from wood? I understand synthetic lanes hold up a lot more, but, I mean, wood approach is just fine. Doesn't take a hell of a lot of maintenance on them. Hell, I did that often back in the day when I worked in bowling centers. Hey, we're closed for a day this summer. We're sanding and refinishing the approaches, so they stay nice and you get the best experience possible. But I understand why centers went to synthetic approaches, and yeah, they just don't handle humidity extremes as well as wood. You know, wood can still get a little tacky depending on the amount of humidity and such, and yeah, you still got to take care of things. But 20 years ago, we didn't have the magic. Oh, maybe it was just starting 20 years ago with the interchangeable soles and all the other stuff. I mean, I've watched a lot of PBA Tour guys today. They change the soles on their shoes. You know, a lot of the higher average bowlers do what a lot of us somewhat higher average bowlers, the lower average bowlers, where they have the interchangeable soles. We don't get ready. We find the ones that we like and we stick with them. Hey, this is really good for what we do. And then we go to another bowling center, or we go to another part of the country, and then we have these other soles that we've never used and broken in, and all of a sudden they're at an extreme one way or another because they haven't been broken in. So you're not seeing that with the PBA guys. I'm sure that Smallwood probably did a little something to change his soles after game 1 if he was still having issues. And now we look at Tom Smallwood, and yeah, things have been going well for him. Oh, Liz gets it to go. So it's still the possible 249 for Liz. Yeah, and it's as we said, you know, it's you probably go to the half the bowling centers in the Midwest today, and with the humidity and the heat that's out and about. But I mean, bowling, as much as we don't like to admit it sometimes, is a very environmental game. Oil's going to move around a lot more on a warmer lane surface than it's going to on a colder lane bed. Lanes play different summer to winter. I know houses that adjust their oiling patterns from summer to winter.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, stone 9 for Liz. Yikes. Hard to believe a ball that doesn't have that much entry angle can get all the way past that 9 pin. Yeah, I know it's been a couple of decades since the first ones that came out with the interchangeable soles. I think Lynn's came out with something that had dots, like little dots you'd change on the sole of your shoe. And then that's when Dexter and a couple other companies picked up the How about that? Brady wants it to stay right, and it stays right. So after that chop in the 6th frame, Brady Smallwood just shook it off, picked up the single pin in the 7th, and now looking to get another game in the 230s. Boy, if he does that, he's going to be over 800 with his handicap for the first 3 games. And he just needs, always easy to say just, but he'll need to get past the 1486 total with handicap of Cameron Witten to get into the top spot in the boys junior handicap division. So looking in the chat, a couple players that know this center well. When was this center built? Any idea? Early 80s? I've heard a couple of different stories about it. It was built by one company, then then Brunswick bought it and turned it into a zone. And then when Bolero bought out Brunswick's bowling center's operations before the pandemic, that's when this became a Bolero Center, along with quite a few others in the Chicagoland area. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know the original build date of this center. And we know these lanes here have to be at least 30 years old, I think I heard somebody say, for the synthetics. Like, you can definitely tell on the right side, there's definitely some early track friction. Yeah, Thunderbird, then Brunswick Zone, then, yeah, I just don't, what was the original open date for Thunderbird? I wonder if anybody knows that. I know in Milwaukee, one of the local bowling authors did bad break there. Not getting this 4 out for Brady Smallwood, but get the 2-pin count, move on. You're still over 200 with your scratch score. You're still pacing quite well towards the boys junior handicap lead. Only gets 1, so he'll add 224 to his total, so he'll be at 747 with his handicap. So still going to need a few more pins. If he can shoot what he did for his first 3, he'll take over the lead. Your player movement here between games 3 and games 4. They are skipping a pair, landing on the second. So the players you see here in 29 and 30, they are going to be moving over to 33 and 34. Liz Johnson and company moving down to 3 and 4. So we're going to take a short audio intermission here, and we will get you underway with our 4th of 6 games of qualifying. Here at the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships. All right, let's check in with Liz Johnson. Liz at 7-10 for her first 3 games, or plus 110. So, I mean, obviously, if she just keeps pacing even at what she's at now, plus 220 would be more than comfortable, as it's a plus 163 for the leading score with Verity Crawley. Verity, I know you're not watching because you're bowling another event in the Chicagoland area right now, but odds are it's been fun leading, as you said yesterday. I still led for a squad, and that may be the case. Packy Hanrahan not having the best of days for himself. Oh, as that silly 7-pin tries to stand against the might of one Patrick Hanrahan of Massachusetts. That silly little 7-pin. It will not do that again. It will probably fall before that messenger gets there. So we got our eyes on 2 players on this squad. Once again, all pair feeds available to you here on the PBA YouTube channel. Just open up the description on the main feed here, and you'll be able to see all 8 of the pair feeds in play. You can follow your favorite player if we're not following them in the main feed, but we're going to stick with Liz Johnson. We are going to stick with Brady Smallwood, as we have a chance for 2 new division leaders in the tournament today. Brady, wow, that head pin comes back between the 2, 4, and 5. Ends up taking the 5 out. Take the chop out of play after an opening strike. There you see Smallwood still 747 with his handicap pins. He needs to continue that similar pace to get past our current leader in the boys junior handicap division with Cameron Witten. Well covered by the hashtag Better Smallwood to this point so far. Actually, Tom had a rough start game 1. He's really made his way back. He's at plus 78. But after an open there, he'd need about 28 in a row to take over the open, or pardon me, the PBA exempt division. So all the bowlers in our handicap divisions, whether it's men's, women's, boys junior or girls junior, they're all handicapped at the same percentage. 80% of the difference between the bowlers average and 220. So that's why Brady Smallwood with a 193 entering average is catching 24 pins a game. And Smallwood can't get the 10 to go on that shot. And he's definitely spread up. Sean Rash mentioned earlier about the King of the Hill Royal Family Edition. Ooh, error there for Brady. You see, looking at his hand on the way back. Come on, hand. Do what you're not supposed to do. Don't try to hit up on it. Nice spare attempt. I thought that 7 would just get out of the way there for Packy after he slapped it out last time on that lane. He's definitely sprouted up a few inches from that King of the Lanes Royal Family appearance with his dad. And of course, you remember back, I mean, Carolyn Doran Ballard and her daughter Alyssa taking home one of the shows with a big clutch strike from CDB. I think that was maybe one of the highlight strikes. If you ask Carolyn, it's one of the highlight strikes of her career. Being able to help her and Alyssa take down one of those PBA shows for the Royal Family Edition. Liz will take the lanes first. I'll have to ask her once we're done today. Something tells me we're going to be doing a leaders interview with Liz once we're done. I mean, she's got kind of a big decision to make. I'm sure it's been made already, obviously, with travel arrangements and such. As Brady bounces back nicely. That's right. Now, where does she go next? Does she go to the 10th Anniversary Classic up in Green Bay? I mean, it's a huge event for the PWBA. But let's face it, it's just a standalone event. It's 1 week, and then the ladies are off until the Striking Against Breast Cancer Mixed Doubles, where they pair up with the PBA players. Let's go check the PWBA website. Or would Liz take the opportunity, because she's done very well at PBA 50 events, and it's the PBA 50 World Series of Bowling over the next 2 weeks, starting at Dave Small's Jack 60 in Jackson, Michigan on July 9th. And yeah, it looks like Liz Johnson is taking to the PBA 50 World Series of Bowling. Can't fault her for that at all. For as competitive as Liz has been on that tour, made numerous match play rounds this year. At the most recent event, the PBA 50 South Shore Classic, she made her way into match play. Got knocked out in the opening round of match play in that event, as it's head-to-head match play brackets at most PBA 50 events. But still a solid week for Liz in Hammond, Indiana. So I'm kind of glad to see her go to the PBA 50 World Series of Bowling. More events, more chances to win. 4 animal patterns, not animal patterns, but 4 named patterns at that PBA 50 World Series of Bowling, with the Ballard, Monticelli, Petraglia, and Holman Championships, along with the overall PBA 50 World Championship. So yeah, a lot of money, a lot of titles can be won in a short period of time. Not surprised that Liz Johnson's going to be going over to Jackson, Michigan for the next couple of weeks. And take the opportunity to bowl there. A big double bouncing back off the open. Brady Smallwood. Liz Johnson working on 4 in a row. Once again, that competition, PBA 50 World Series of Bowling, you can view that on Bowl TV. As Liz comes a little light, gets the 8 out, leaves just the 2-pin. Qualifying in the Ballard Championship starts on Wednesday. Pardon me, Thursday for the Ballard. Practice session Wednesday, July 9th. Then the 10th and 11th is the Ballard Championship. 12th and 13th to Monticello, 14th and 15th to Petraglia, 16th and 17th to Holman. And then the top qualifiers from those 4 legend patterns will battle in match play for the PBA 50 World Championship. On July 18th and 19th. And another PBA 50 World Champion will be crowned July 19th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time with the championship finals. And by the time the PBA 50 Tour leaves Jackson, Michigan, Dave Small will have hosted his 99th, 100th, 101st, 102nd, and 103rd PBA events across all levels, regional and national. Just amazing for a man that didn't host his first event until 2014. Get it out of there, come on! Oh, the 7 stands against Brady. I mean, think about that. That's an average of 9 events a year. He only owns, well, now 8 bowling centers. He's bought spare time in Decatur. So you're basically having at least 1 regional or national event in every one of your bowling centers annually. Phenomenal support of the PBA by Dave Small. And I'm glad to be able to call Dave a friend as well as a great host. First regional event I was ever part of the Extra Frame live streaming crew on was at Heritage Lanes in Kokomo in 2014. And Dave gave himself a great introduction I cannot repeat on air. First time I met him, and we've been pretty good friends ever since. And Liz right back in the pocket. 269 still out there. So while we were away with Liz, Brady Smallwood did pick up a spare. So you can still get to 237. Once again, he's having a heck of a day coming in with a 193 average. Put it together, and as we've talked about in the past with some bowling families, you talk about the Ballards and now the Smallwoods and the Webbers and the Barneses. You can have all the great help you have. You can have the professional lineage, but unless you bust your tail and keep working hard at the game, yeah, you can't live off a legend name. You got to be able to put in the work yourself. And now joining me in the booth, one of the busiest men in the bowling industry, I think, over the last couple of weeks. Been traveling a lot. Now we got him back here. our tournament director, and he's also the director of rules and equipment for the PBA, Neil Stremmel.
Hey, guys. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Neil, the frequent flyer miles definitely built up over the last week. You spent a little time out in Washington, D.C. at Bowl Expo?
Yeah, I was out there for a few days. That was a good show. Pretty well attended. Seems I didn't go last year, but from everything I heard, it was better than last year in Denver, and so it was good. It was busy, especially day one was busy for a lot of people. Everybody gave me positive feedback, anyways.
Nice, and obviously out there featuring the PBA LBC program. Mike Sleds, I'm sure, was out there featuring the PBA Junior program.
Correct.
All kinds of it's one of the great things about this LBC National Championship. I mean, it's exponentially better today because obviously you're not walking in every squad that's PBA LBC, and there's 8 PBA exempt players on the squad. But there's a lot of squads that have a PBA exempt player, and it's something that you can interact with these players in a lot different fashion than if you saw them at a PBA Tour event.
Yeah, and like you said, today's a great example. So we got 8 guys, and we got Liz Johnson out there, and it's just a great event, great venue for you to kind of bowl with or next to them and just kind of see how they go about their business, even talk to them, and kind of just get a feel for what it's like to travel and bowl and make a living at it.
Yep. Great toss there by Tracy Anderson. She's in the same division that Liz is in. So unfortunately both in the Women Classic for Tracy, but Tracy can still get herself a nice finish and a nice check here. And, it's not a guaranteed thing for Liz yet. She still has 2 more games to go. But she's dropped her average down overall lifetime in this event. I mean, it was over 250, and now after only shooting 710 in the first 3, she's down to like a 245 average for her now.
Yeah, when I introduced her before the squad, I'm like, back-to-back champion in this division, in her division, and it should have been like the only person to win the division.
Right, because last year, for those of you that watched the PBA LBC National Championships Clash in Portland, Lenny Borsch was there for the 2nd consecutive year, but last year the rule was they took the high senior and the high super senior, and with Lenny being over 60 years old, he was the high super senior, and that's how he advanced to Portland. And a little bit late getting back on Brady Strike, but a big double there for the young man from Michigan. And
he's fun to watch. He's throwing the ball really well.
Tracy asked that one to push, and it does. So, it's nice because I know Liz Johnson, Tracy, and Dan on this pair. They all go back quite a ways. Liz lived in the Chicago area for a few years as well, and I'm not sure about if CJ just knows the other players or just happen to be put on that pair. But it's always nice to be able to bowl with people on your pair. And with the PBA LBC National Championships, even though it's a singles event, people can request the bowl with their friends on a pair of lanes, which is a great thing.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we have a spot for that. We keep track of that. I know there's been a glitch or two. Packy's not bowling with his fiance. Somehow she didn't get signed up, and so we got her on the squad. But so it's unique from that standpoint, which makes it kind of a lot of fun that way.
Yeah. And people can still get in. There's still room. Next Saturday is the last day that has openings. The tournament ends on Sunday, but that squad is sold out on Sunday. But you can still get on PBA.com/LBC tournament. You have all your tournament information there, including your leaderboards, including how to enter and register. Get yourself a League Pal account. You can get all your optional doubles and 4-player team events registered before you walk in the door here. Your selection is going to be limited, obviously, going into the last weekend because you can't sign up with people that already bowled. But maybe somebody signed up with you and you're bowling that last weekend. You can still sign up with other people on the last weekend as well.
Yeah, and there's still a good list of people for the last weekend that'll be bowling as well. So it should be a couple of fun squads next weekend, and I'll be here, and it'll be fun.
Yes, indeed. So there was a question in the chat earlier about locations, moving locations, because it's been in the Midwest. For the last 3 years, first 3 years of the event was in Milwaukee year 1, Chicago years 2 and 3. They're asking if there's any plans on moving it to other parts of the country. Any answer you could possibly provide on that? Because I can't.
Yeah, I do know we want to keep it in the Midwest. It's that's a vast majority of the bowlers in the country are within driving distance of Chicago. Milwaukee, Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Detroit. If you were to use those, draw a line from those cities, that's where we want to kind of keep it, and that should make sure that it's within driving distance of just a lot of bowlers, a lot of good bowlers, and of course there's plenty of people that fly in or drive much further distances, but having a bulk of bowlers in the Midwest able to just get to it quickly and easily is continuing to be a priority for us. Who knows, maybe in the future we'll have multiple versions of this across the country and then have the Class be the championship or something. But
that was another question that was asked as well for travel, to help some people with travel expenses. Would they have multiple areas like they did with the Players' Championship right after the pandemic, where players could go to their local regional, or not local, but regional PBA LBC National Championship qualifier and then advance to a final weekend or something of that nature?
Yeah, I do like that concept if we're going to truly grow this event, something like that, or a bigger venue, or longer weekends, et cetera, something needs to happen.
Yeah.
And we've been growing about 10% the last couple of years, each time the last 2 years, and but we're just limited by the number of lanes available and weekends available.
Right.
So,
and for some people, it would probably be pretty tough because you've already got all your work vacation time scheduled. You take a couple extra days to make it to an LBC National Championship event. What if you do well and all of a sudden I'm out of vacation time at work or something like that, where you have to go to the next level? That could be an issue for some people as well. And they would just go, if I can't get to that next level, why go in the first place? So, there's all kinds of factors to take into play with it.
I see that. We do try to keep this on the weekend, so it should minimize your vacation days, but not everybody has a 9-to-5 job.
As we sit in the booth not having a 9-to-5 job. Exactly.
So I get that. Obviously, we get that.
So, but yeah, we appreciate. It never hurts to ask. The worst I can tell you is we'll look into it. So,
exactly. We are looking into a variety of options, and we want to continue to grow it. Yeah. But I know at least one of the centers, or the only centers, is really going to try to be in the Midwest, stay in the Midwest, and keep us here. So that's the plan, anyways.
Okay, Sean Rash on a big string. It's only 61 over through 3, but looking to put something together here after going back-to-back opens. And there we go. Let's just put the stopper on that one.
9-pin.
Sorry, Sean. We've been horrendous in the booth all weekend. I don't think we've had anybody.
All tournament almost.
Well, let's not get carried away. And then another split in the 10th. Back-to-back games for Brady Smallwood. Yeah. And this one's going to keep him in the 190 range, barring a miracle conversion. But he still has a good chance. He's got 2 games to go. If he can pop another 220, 230, just like he did games 1 and 2, he's got a chance for that boys junior handicap lead. So
we need a score correction on 34. That 10-pin fell late, but it fell.
All right, Brian, get on it. So, Neil, thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us. We're wrapping up game 4 here. We're going to take a little audio intermission in the booth. For those of you double tabbing us, want to watch your favorite player as they move on. I know some of you now have Brady Smallwood as your favorite player. He's going to move from 33 and 34. He's just going to move a pair to the right, down to 3 and 4. And so Liz Johnson will be right next door in 5 and 6. So we'll keep an eye on both those players coming up in game 5. Neil, thanks again for sitting in.
Yep. Thank you.
We'll
have a good day.
Talk to you next weekend.
All right. Bye.
right, so Liz Johnson starting with the quick double. Looking inevitable for Liz to take the Women's Classic Division lead again, as her plus 179 total for 4 already passed the 163 total set by Verity Crowley yesterday. So, I mean, basically 2 games at 200 or better, she's easily in the lead. And, of course, Liz is going to continue to pile on because there are still some good players that have rescheduled out of this weekend that we should see in the final weekend of this event, especially if they don't have any success at the PWBA 10th Anniversary Classic. They can make their way down here to Blair Mount Prospect and Bowl next Saturday. Still plenty of room, and you can get in as well. PBA.com/LBC tournament as the 4 fails to go for Liz, and we'll have an easy eye on Brady Smallwood as Brady at 962 for 4. So even with Brady coming off that game in the 190s last game, still a chance if Brady can shoot what he shot his first 2 games, 235 and 240. Well, he'd actually be a pin short with that, but it's entirely possible because Brady Smallwood needs 477 for his last 2 games to take over the boys' handicap division lead. Thank you. Production staff hard at work to give you the best quality possible here. For the PBA LBC National Championships. Yeah, Mark, just a goat doing goat stuff. Ho hum. She's dropped her average by a couple of pins, though. Her lifetime average. She's down just under 250 for 16 games of competition. Looking to get that back over 250 this game. And somebody said she's throwing a phase 2, which I believe was the same ball she threw not just in 2024 for the Women's Classic Division Championship, but I think 2023 as well. James, yeah, we were talking about Dave Small earlier. Yeah, James, absolutely. Dave Small, phenomenal host. I'm sure that high school national championship event at Pro Bowl West in Fort Lane ran great, especially because you can land a Cessna on that concourse. Yeah, Pro Bowl. That is I remember we'd set up our extra frame booth on the back of the concourse up in the game room area of Pro Bowl West, and we'd need binoculars, I think, to see the pins. I jokingly say that, but yeah, it's easily a 40-foot wide concourse. I mean, there were no parents stepping on each other at Pro Bowl West, unlike a lot of other high school events, college events. That's probably one of the best places they could have that event in the country, and hopefully Mike and his crew at the National High School Bowling Championships, hopefully they go back there for a year or two. I understand they want to move it around the country as well to get more in different schools to be able to compete with the travel. And while we've all been fawning over Liz, Tracy Anderson, our repair, having a solid day as well, averaging 240 for her first 4. And Tracy, if she keeps up that pace, she can find herself in the top 5 in the Women's Classic Division as well. So sometimes it's easy here that we get focused a little bit too much on a leader or one of the greatest of all time, as we have a possible leader and a greatest of all time here, as Brady Smallwood makes a great shot first time down. Liz has left more 9 pins than 10s today. Hey, Robin, good to see you in the chat again. All right, let's see if Brady himself a double. Look at that wheel on the bottom. Gets it to come in. Boom. Looks over at Liz Johnson, goes, take that. No, I'm kidding. No, he didn't. Just kidding. Can you imagine that, though, running over in front of one of the greatest of all time and just slapping it out after he left the 7 count? Talk about instantly wearing the black hat in bowling, being the bad guy forever. Smalls gets the crossover strike. See, we talked about the approaches earlier. No, they've been doing what they can. It's not as humid and warm as it was yesterday in the Chicagoland area, and they had the AC pumping again all night. Everybody goes, they're leaving the AC on here all night. I walk in here in the morning. Every morning we've had this LBC squad, and my nipples get perky. It's that chilly in here. So, and it takes a lot for my nipples to get perky. Now to have everybody's attention. Yeah, it's just a matter of doors open and close and body heat gets generated, that type of thing. So I haven't seen really anybody have footing issues so far on this squad. People check it a little bit here to here, pair to pair, especially if they're moving from high end to low end. There is a door right on the low end here where you see these players bowling, but it's used as an emergency exit. It doesn't stay open, but there's still some airflow that can get through there and affect the approaches. So. But it's summer. It's bowling in summer. Anywhere you go with synthetic approaches. They can be tacky, or if it's a cooler day, they've had the AC on and it's not humid outside, they can turn into ice rinks. Seen that as well. Let's see. Oh, next year for the junior high school, okay, Wayne Webb's. It's not a bad concourse there either at Wayne Webb's. It's kind of wide. Always enjoyed spending time there back in the extra frame and flow bowling days. for tournaments and Wayne Webb's. Front three for Brady Smallwood. I don't know if he knows what he needs. I'm sure he's not scoreboard watching. They can look at the monitors here in the bowling center, and they have a scroll of all the top scores in the divisions. Wow. Well, that's the worst shot by Liz in 3 years. I can say that personally, having seen most of them with the live streaming. So Liz gets the cover after the errant shot. Great cover on a tough spare attempt by Brady Smallwood. Those 3.69 10s will always So as we mentioned, Liz, I mean, she can basically walk into the finish at the rate she's going here, be our leader in the women's class division. Brady Smallwood's got a bit of work to do yet. Needs to get to 478 for his last 2 games in total, including then add his handicap pins in. And we're going to interrupt our live coverage here as we're going to get a replay. Earlier here in Game 5, Sean Rash, second frame, 2-8-10. There and gone. Great conversion. You see the great smile by Sean coming off the lane. Well done, Sean Rash. Might not be the best shot of your career, but definitely a highlight of the day today with the 2-8-10 for Sean Rash. And Brady Smallwood gets right back on track with the 10 back. I don't know if it's necessarily brutal, Stevie J. I mean, there is some, oh, geez, that's brutal. You want to talk about brutal. Stuffing a 7 like Liz Johnson did right there. I'll take a little wind out of the sails, especially first ball of the 10th frame. It's built to hold up through 6 games of play. Yeah, obviously there's still going to be transition no matter what and such, but sometimes just a matter as the lanes go through that oil transition. The oil pattern breaks down. Less oil in the front, more oil towards the back. You get the wrong piece of equipment in your hand, you can make it look brutal yourself, let's be honest. As we see Liz going back to the bag, she's going to be taking another shot at a different ball here in the fill shot. So 212 for Liz. Has her at 1191, or 191 over for 5 games. Liz needs a 173 game in Game 6 to take the lead, and Brady Smallwood is starting to see his chances at taking over the boys junior handicap lead slide away a little bit. So Brady Smallwood can still get 242. If he can get a 3-bagger at least out of here, getting the 220s again, he still has a chance at the boys junior handicap division lead. But yeah, he's definitely going to need to start putting some strikes in a row here at the end of Game 5, and it would behoove him to start striking early in Game 6 as well. Come on, ball. There we go. So you're moving between Games 5 and Game 6 is taking a pretty big move for these players. So those of you double tabbing, as Liz Johnson and company skipping 3 pairs, landing on the 4th. So they're going to be on 13 and 14. Smallwoods and their lane mates will be on 11 and 12. So we'll be able to follow them over there. Made a run through during Game 4 right there, and there's just not a lot of other big scores in the center. And unfortunately for Tracy Anderson, she had a good day going. She's still holding in okay. She's still plus on the day, can still with a big last game get herself into a cash spot in the women's open, or pardon me, the women's classic division. All right, so once again, Smalls moving to 11 and 12. Liz Johnson, Tracy Anderson, Dan Luxford, and CJ Holman, who, thanks to the chat I know now, is Tracy's son. I always appreciate the help we get from the chat here, so when we throw some of our own questions out into the universe. So we'll stay with the Smallwoods. We'll stay with Liz Johnson. We let everybody know skip 3 land on the 4th for the player movement, and just a single game of competition remaining this weekend in the PBA LBC National Championships. However, don't forget, one more weekend of competition to go. 2 squads next Saturday, 9 a.m., 2 p.m. here in Mount Prospect. Next Sunday, it's sold out at 11 a.m., but you still have your chance to bowl on Saturday if you so choose. As you can sign up pba.com/LBC tournament and get your last chance at getting some of the thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in prize money being awarded. Hey, over $675,000 in prize money awarded during the first 2 years of the PBA LBC National Championships. Easily going to exceed the $1 million mark in 3 years. After all the checks are written for this event. And if you can't make it that last weekend in 2025, get yourself ready to sign up. Entries, I'm sure, will open usually around October once again for the 2026 edition of this event. And they'll make all the announcements on the who, what, when, wheres, and whys. Well, we know why, because you want to bowl and win money. Sometime shortly after the tournament ends this year. So as you mentioned, Liz Johnson just needs a 180 game, gets her in the lead, but we know she'll be piling on the pins here in Game 6. Brady Smallwood, however, has got a little more work to go. As after that 208 game for Brady Smallwood, that leaves him unofficially at 1194 with his handicap. And after putting in Brady's 24 pins of handicap into Game 6, he'll need a 269 game or better to take over the lead. We've seen him put a couple of games in the 230s and 240s today. So never say never, but yeah, a lot of work to go for Brady Smallwood to get to the top of the boys' junior handicap divisions. Can still walk away with a really nice check. And as we said, Liz Johnson, 173 is all she needs to take over the lead from Verity Crawley with one weekend remaining. And looking to become the first person in the 3 years of this tournament to repeat. Not just once, but twice, to give her a 3-time Women's Classic Division champion title and the $5,000 in guaranteed prize money from the PBA that comes with that championship. I think Liz will be happy to make adjustments off a couple of single pins. To try to finish out strong here in Game 6. Once again, next weekend, we will have booth squads for you, main feeds all weekend long. Don't know if we'll have any pros scheduled to join us in the booth on Saturday. Obviously, a little tough for PBA players to join us in the booth and bowl at the same time on a Sunday. But as we mentioned, with Nate Stubler, Jason Sterner, Kyle Sherman, Bill O'Neill, all joining us to bowl next weekend. Stubler bowling 2 p.m. on Saturday. Sterner, Sherman, O'Neill, and Hayden Stipich, who led the tour trials here in the greater Chicagoland area last year. All bowling our final squad, sold out squad next Sunday at (11 a.m. local time, noon for those of you tuning in from the East Coast. Oh, before Brady Smallman gets up here, let's get over to a couple players trying to finish out strong here on 15 and 16. Andrew Sims, blower 7-pin, ends his string at 5. We'll wait for Packy Hanrahan to come up, see if Packy can take his string out to 7 in a row. It has not been a good day for Packy at all. Just over a 203 average for the first 5 games for Packy. He may have that beat by the 7th frame. And Packy gets them all to go. Front 7 for the Wichita State alum. While we were away, Brady Smallwood starts with a strike. Liz Johnson looking to pile on a double. Well, Packy's going to fire first. He's looking to just get as many strikes as he can and get out of here. Front 8 for Packy. Wow, we mentioned they were firing. I didn't even get a chance to go back over by Packy. Before he shot his 9th ball there, you see he's left the 7 pin, so no chance for a mini Duke. But still a good finish for Packy on the way out the door. No, it's not the day he wanted overall, and everybody always wants to get their chance to get that mini Duke for a perfect game. Well, it's pretty much the end of the run for any chance Brady Small to take down that boys junior handicap division top spot after the open frame in the second. But still can get himself a nice scholarship award if he can finish out strong here. Now it's probably a little disappointing for Brady at this moment. Knowing the lead might be out of reach. But get as many pins as you can. But we will have a lead change on the squad, barring Liz Johnson taking a couple frames off to go jump the Snake River Canyon and not returning. Some of you might be old enough to get that reference. Yeah, it's just a 173 needed by Liz. To take over the Women's Classic Division lead. From Verity Crowley. But hey, what a day for Verity and her boyfriend, Christiana Cervegas. Sergio Yevis. And we'll get that right before the end of the weekend. As Christus and Verity, boy, what a great day. Walking out of the weekend, they're both going to be in second place in their divisions. Christus in the Open Classic, Verity in the Women's Classic. So odds are 2 very nice paychecks coming back to Florida for Verity and Christus. CJ just looking to get out of the way. Liz Johnson, well, Of course, as you just say something, it's probably a sure thing, turns into not a sure thing. She's yet to double this game. Now, a washout could cause some serious issues. And no bounce out of the pit, so the open frame for Liz leaves her at 107 in the sixth. She's got to mark every frame. Another open and no doubles, and Verity stays in place. There's no such thing as a sure thing in the sport of bowling. That is the only sure thing, is that there's no sure thing. So we'll see how Liz handles her delivery in the seventh frame. She's gone single pin strike her last two attempts on this lane. And Liz takes them all down there. Never say die. Brady Smallwood, second place, still readily available out there. In the boys junior handicap division. Might not be that $2,500 guaranteed first place scholarship prize on top of the boys junior handicap and girls junior handicap divisions, but still, every little bit of scholarship money helps. Is that a Dave Armstrong sighting? It is a Dave Armstrong sighting. Dave and Liz, good friends. Good to see Dave here. Wow, Liz comes up light again, so still no guarantee that Liz is our leader. Wow, how the tide turns watching her just kind of in cruise control. The first four games. $979 for Liz for her first four. Then game 5 bit her a little bit, 212, just could not find carry, and now she's having the same issue here in game 6. Can't get a double on the board through 8 frames. The good news is for Liz, the lane she's been striking on is her foundation frame lane. Bad news is she's got to go back over to lane 14 to finish. Marks are fine right now with good counts. She needs just 173 to take the lead. As Liz with 1191 after 4. I mean, mark's perfectly fine, but an open, that's going to need a mark and good count as well. mean, this is the first time in it sounds weird to say. Here's the first time in 3 years that Liz hasn't had to cruise into the last game to take the women's Classic Division lead. I mean, yeah, sure, 173 can do anything, but there you go. So any count, I mean, 9 out for Liz is 175. And she'll be your women's Classic Division leader. Oh, get out of here. Wow. Come on. Brady deserves better than that. Smash 7, almost a smash 7-9 for Brady Smallwood. And then Dad matches with the smash 9. Okay. That's why bowling can be fun with your family, because you can both get bad breaks at the same time. Chicago Bears fan. Liz Johnson lived in Chicago for a few years back before the pandemic. I think even into early in 2020, 2021, but I know there's been a couple of moves for Liz since then. As Liz waits for a fresh rack of pins. Liz is originally from Cheektowaga, New York. I know when I was running some tournaments up in the Milwaukee area back in the late aughts and early 20-teens, Liz made a couple of trips up to bowl in some of our events. And yeah, that's right, Chicagoland Women's Open was this weekend, so Verity in the finals there, not surprising. Jen Hagen's quality player as well. So thanks for the update on that, John. Here we go, Liz, 9 or more. She's in the lead once again. Yikes. Get 2, she's in the lead. Get 1, she ties with Verity Crowley. I don't know what the tiebreaker procedure would be to see who gets to the clash. In past years, they've had at least 2 of the Women's Classic Division bowlers advance to the clash. This year it's only scheduled for a single Women's Classic bowler. I don't know. I'd have to check the rules what the tiebreaker may be. If Liz gets at least 2 here, it's a moot point. Well, off the sideboard, she gets 3, so we do have a new leader in the Women's Classic Division with Liz Johnson. Not the past 1,500 plus totals that we've seen Liz put up. But a leader nonetheless here at the PBA LBC National Championships. Could we see Liz Johnson in the clash for the 3rd straight year? We've got one more weekend before we're able to find out. As Liz finishes with 1374. Take the lead by 11 pins. Over Verity Crowley. And we got a front bunch here. Nate Bohr can't get to the lead in the PBA exempt division, but can get himself into a good spot if he can go all the way off the sheet for 300. He can get himself into third place if he can get himself perfection here. Hey, slap that 10 out. Well done, Nathan Bohr. Nate, very familiar with the center. He bowled here in 2023 when the Illinois Classic was held here, and last year it was one of the 4 centers used in the greater Chicagoland area. Day 3 of the PBA Tour Trials was held here. And not the finish of the day that Tracy Anderson was looking at. But still a solid day on the lane. She'll be at plus 65. A little outside the cash number right now for the ladies. But a great day nonetheless, and I'm sure she had a lot of fun bowling with her good friend Liz Johnson. And with her son CJ. And with the significant other Dan. Pardon me, brother Dan. I apologize. How about it, Brady? There we go. Take it all down. Yeah, good to see Verity had another good day taking on that Chicagoland Women's Open. That'll make the drive to Green Bay feel a little shorter, as her and whatever friend she may be dragging along in her car have themselves about a 4-hour drive up to Green Bay after getting out of Poplar Creek Bowl. Front 8 for Nathan Bohr. So we'll get back to Nathan Bohr momentarily. 233 still out there for Brady Smallwood, as we said. Still a good chance if he can punch out. He could see a possible second place in that boys junior handicap division. Nate Bohr, front 9.
So the camera, I don't have to.
So we'll get you a second look at Nate Bohr momentarily, as he'll be stepping up in the 10th frame, looking for perfection. So we're going to get you back up to Nathan Bohr before we get back to Brady Smallwood's final shots of competition. Wrapping up weekend number 6 of the PBA LBC National Championships, Game 6 here on our 11 a.m. squad. And Nathan Bohr, who you see coming into your picture, working on the front 9, trying to get into second place in the PBA exempt division, gets them all to go. Solid day for Bohr to this point. Plus 156 for his 5 prior games, so averaging 231 plus. Problem is Andrew Anderson averaged over 250 for his 6 games of LBC National Championships competition last weekend. So Andrew Anderson is going to walk out of this squad once again, your leader. With 1 weekend remaining, only a few PBA exempt players left to bowl, 5 of them to be exact. And you'll catch all that action here on the PBA YouTube channel next weekend. Will we see number 11 for Nathan Bohr? Yes, we will. How about that? We've given away 8 mini Dukes already, the greatest award for a perfect game in the sport of bowling. Well, short of, $10,000 in cash that we get in a PBA telecast. But as a memorial of your perfect game, nothing wrong with having a mini Duke on your mantle. Means you shot it on a national stage. And will we get our 9th mini Duke awarded here for Nathan Bohr? You see the big exhale. And this shot also gets him into second place in the PBA exempt division behind Andrew Anderson. Pardon me, it will get him into third place behind Dombrowski. Dombrowski at plus 266. There we go. And a mini Duke for Nathan Bohr here at the PBA LBC National Championships. Congratulations, Nathan Bohr. Let's get back down. Great day for Brady Smallwood. He's not going to take the lead. He was on pace early, but he's still going to finish with only 1 game below his 193 in their average, and he started off super hot with 235, 240. So there you go, trip that 4, Brady Smallwood. So his total with his handicap ends up being at 14-18. So Brady Smallwood will move unofficially into 4th place in the boys' 4th place in boys' handicap. Brady, nice job you're sitting at right now. Yeah, 4th place right now. So nice job today. Yeah. Well, there's one more weekend. There's still a few more boys to bowl, but you should get a scholarship check today off of today. So Brady was just walking by the booth, happened to catch him. So we'll talk to Liz Johnson. Look for that interview on the PBA LBC Facebook page a little later this week. And thanks everybody for joining us once again here from Bolero Mount Prospect, as we'll be back next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. here in Bolero Mount Prospect. For more coverage of the PBA LBC National Championships, the 7th and final weekend next weekend. Hey, parents, take the kids bowling because they're going to have fun for life. And we will see you next Saturday